love yourself enough to receive the love that's already there around you. I think that is the most important thing that we forget or don't accept wherever we're at, whatever we're going through, whatever's happened in our life. Truly, I've realized this, and the angels have taught me about unconditional love. That unconditional love is right there in that embrace, waiting for you to be held, carried, shown, guided. So love yourself enough to receive that unconditional love.
Welcome to Soul Sisters Get Real, the show that goes deep in who we really are and why we are really here.
We're your hosts, Karen from the States
and Eleni from Australia.
We've had heartfelt conversations as soul sisters for years, and we're ready to share our truths, stories, and life lessons with you.
And to inspire you to connect to your truest essence, which resides deep within your soul. There'll be tears, there'll be laughter, and there'll be no holding back.
So sit back, relax, and let's get real about the things that truly matter.
Hello, everybody. We are so excited today because we have brought back our most popular guest to date. The episode where this particular guest was on went absolutely crazy. It was episode 10, and her name is Karen Paolino. She is the miracle messenger. She brings in messages from angels. Karen Paolino is the author of several books, including 101 Ways to Meet Your Angels and Everything Guide to Angels, which was featured as books to read by Newsweek. She has been a guest speaker on Hay House Radio, and she showcases her keynote speaking expertise at industry expos, retreat centers, and conferences worldwide. Today, we're going to be talking about how to deepen your connection with angels. It's going to be an awesome episode. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you. I'm so excited to co-create with both of you again. It's so much fun. We said a prayer beforehand, and I said it feels like exactly what your intention, like soul sisters coming together on a soul level to share.
Remember, every time I see you, Karen, that you were one of my first experiences with angels after my son Josh died in the motorcycle accident. And I had the experience with you because you did a session for me, which I was so grateful for, and then took your angel course. And anytime I see you, I just, I feel so much love for you, because I remember that it was such a key time in my life when you entered with all of your experience. So I'm so excited for this episode that others get to learn also about connecting with their angels.
So let's dive right in.
Yeah.
I'm excited about today's episode. I love talking about angels. And for those of you who have not seen Karen's amazing, miraculous story about how she connected in with her angels, you've got to listen to episode 10, where she details how Karen, being a Jewish woman, suddenly was spoken to by Mother Mary, and she's like, what are you doing speaking to me? I'm not even Catholic. It's a fascinating story, so you need to go back to episode 10 and watch that. And so let's talk about, in that episode, we talked about connecting to our angels, and in this episode, we're talking about deepening our connection with our angels. And so let's talk about your story first. How did you deepen your connection with your angels, Karen?
Well, it's interesting because I want to even talk about Karen, when she opened up. And I think between, all of us, we realize that that openness is absolutely the first step. And then I feel that there's a call. We feel a call. And so for me, the call was healing at the time. And it was healing from cancer, and it was healing not just physically, but really diving into all levels of healing and really figuring out from an intuitive feeling that I needed to heal on all levels, not just the physical and go through the physical treatments, but really get to the core physically, explore emotionally, explore spiritually. So when we have this, I call it the call. We have this call to, Karen said yes to the session. And then she said yes to the Angel Messenger course. And when we feel that call, that's the first thing. Like, listen to the call, even though your ego's going to want to know, where is this taking me? Where am I going? But the best thing is just to follow. I always say, be like Scooby-Doo on the mystery and follow the clues where they're guiding you. So that's one of the first things. Have that, follow the call and have the desire to experience more, learn more, question more, right?
Yeah. And it's that being open to it, because it feels a little woo-woo, right? Like, we get to acknowledge, and I was there too. And you said, do you want to do sessions with angels? And people were offering me soul fragment sessions. And it's like, I'm not woo-woo. And I had such a desire to learn more because I was open. It was like, I feel like our eyes are closed until we hit the curiosity piece.
Yeah.
And that's what I hear you saying, is you get in that space of curiosity and then you start to open up to it. And it's being open to the things that are there for you, right?
Right.
So, because what you just said, Karen, in terms of this following the call, so for those people who don't understand what that means, following the call, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's a feeling that happens. It's signs, synchronicities, coincidences, things that are happening that, some people feel it in the solar plexus. Some people feel it in the heart. They just get this sense that I need to follow this energy. I need to follow this sign, this clue. So, what Karen said is really important. At first, it may seem like, well, the challenge is we're following something that is on a human level. We're following something unseen. We can't tangibly touch or see with our eyes open. Sometimes we see flashes of light and we have spiritual experiences, but most of the time, we are following an inner feeling, an inner call, an intuitive sense that says we need to explore. I feel like, I don't know why I'm listening to this podcast. I don't know why I'm reading this book. I don't know why I'm meeting this person. I don't know why the dog is barking, right? And we just sit there and we say, there's something I need to know more about this. That to me is the call. But you may have had other experiences of that call as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about trusting that call. So it could also be, what I found, Karen, is like in the 1 week, 3 different people have mentioned something. And it's like, well, there's something in that. There's no coincidences that 3 people have said this same thing. And so I need to do something with this information. Whereas years ago, I would have put that down as pure coincidence. But now, if I'm hearing 3 people say, well, maybe you should consider this, it's like, well, that's definite. I am considering this. Well, now I even like, if one person says something, it's like, okay, really listen to what's been said here. Really, really listen. So it is about following and being very aware, because our angels, from what I understand, they're always speaking to us. And so it's about being aware and open to hearing the actual message, right?
Yes. And most importantly is invite it, ask for it. So even if you don't understand, say, I really want to connect. I want to experience. I want to feel. I want to have the coincidences, the signs and synchronicities from my divine helpers. Ask and invite it. And then what you said is really important. You have to pay attention. So what does pay attention mean? Noticing things in threes, noticing if something is, the radio comes on and it's speaking of something to you, or, you see number signs. So it's really paying attention, because the angels can speak in very subtle ways, like nudges, or you get that goosebumps all over you. That's to me at the beginning was absolutely how I was being led. If I saw 444 and all of a sudden I got chills and goosebumps. If I met somebody and they said something, I got chills and goosebumps because I'm very clairsentient. So at the beginning, that's how it would happen. But pay attention and keep asking for more. Because if you can imagine, this is how I feel it sometimes. I can feel it right now. There's like these loving beings of light and energy, like really present behind me, like lining up. They're so excited that they have a way to speak to other people that are open to listen. And they're like, they're waiting. They're not just here for me. I mean, that's, I think that's why people connect with me, because I'm a skeptic before I'm a believer. I'm kind of real. I dress like everybody else. I'm not that woo woo or, I'm interested in crystals and stuff like that, but I'm very grounded. I'm really practical, and, I speak differently than some other people, but I fit in really well with other human beings. So it's not that I'm anybody special. That's the whole thing. I'm just like you listening, but just like me, they're lining up, and they're like, if you can imagine, they're creating a circle around you, and they're just waiting for you to ask and invite them into their life, because that gives them purpose. It enlightens them that they're helping and serving humanity during these times. And they know that it doesn't have to be so hard and difficult, right? Our ego likes to make it, our conditioning. Yes. We think we have to work hard. We have to suffer. We have to go through the difficulties, but working with the divine can lighten things up.
Right. And if we could just back that up just a minute, you talked about being clairsentient. And this is something that I learned in the Angel Messenger course. Clairsentient is feeling, and then there's all the other clairs, right? And so interesting when you said, I'm clairsentient, you talked about the chills, and then you talked about feeling the angels behind you and how you could feel. And so that's your, what I learned from you, and I think this is so interesting, is that is your way of hearing them, feeling life, being life, doing life. And that is also how then you get the messages from the angels.
Yes. And so there's clairsentient where we feel. There's clairaudient where we hear. And it's not like hearing me right now, right? It's hearing those inner whispers, that inner guidance, those inner messages, where it can sometimes feel like your voice, but it's different. It's very supportive, loving, encourage, inspiring. And it says, trust. It says, we're here. You're never alone. You're so loved. Accept yourself. Love yourself. It's very loving. And then we have clairvoyance, where, when I was talking, I have a visual of just light and energy and embrace around me. I have a visual in my mind's eye. It's not like, I sometimes see flashes of light, or I feel like somebody's next to me and I turn. This is more having this visual knowing or impression in my thoughts, and it comes forward, and then, yes. I mean, at the beginning it was feeling and seeing. I didn't hear a thing. And then I asked, let me hear you. So that's where you can deepen your connection. You can say, let me have those inner visual impressions. Let me feel you. Let me hear you. Let me know that you're there. That's how we invite deepening our connection.
So it's like the important thing to note here for people listening is that we all have different ways of connecting with angels. And just because somebody else can clearly see them or can clearly hear them, it doesn't mean that's going to be your experience. So for me, with my angels, I feel them so strongly, but I cannot see them. I want to see them, but who wants to see them? My ego wants to see them. Like, I really, really want to see them, but I can't see them. I have asked, but they haven't appeared yet. And that's because, for whatever reason that I don't understand and that I don't know, because we never know the higher perspective, it's not time yet. But we need to be patient, because, sometimes we're like, I've been told by many teachers, just ask for it. But when I ask for it and it doesn't come, that's because for whatever reason, you need to be patient. It's not the right time. So would you agree with that, Karen, that it's
I
just
think,
sometimes we just need to be really patient?
but I think it's also our perception of what seeing them means, right? Because sometimes we have the human experience where we think, I'm going to see an angel standing here, right? But the more you open up, and I think meditation is really helpful because you close your eyes, you go inward, and those impressions start to show up and come. Because sometimes I think it's our conception of what does seeing angels mean, right? When I first saw my guardian angel, all I saw, and this was in my mind's eye, and you can, at first you think, am I making this up, right? That's your first thought. Am I making this up? But it was just a bright light. It wasn't a human figure that I expected to see. It was just a bright light. And the way I can see now, it almost feels like outline, form. So I think the more we ask and go within and have patience and watch your language when you say, I don't see them. So if you're saying and thinking, I don't see them, then guess what? You're experiencing exactly what you're thinking and saying. You can change the language by saying, I'm really excited to finally see you, or see you in the way I meant to see you. Now, here's the other big thing. This is a big thing. The angels know you better than you know yourself. They know how to connect and communicate with you. They know exactly the way that's going to make that initial connection, that stronger connection. And if they know, like, for example, with you, Alini, if they know you feel things, and they're gonna build up that feeling and that connection through feeling. And then, like I said, for years, I was feeling and seeing. And then I'm like, I don't hear you. I want to hear you. And I'm open to hearing you. And again, I thought it was going to be, I was going to hear them like I'm hearing you come over the microphone, because that's my humanness. I'm like, why would I hear you any different than I'm hearing, myself on the out loud right now? But it's not like that. It's when I continue to pause and go into the quietness and go into myself, that's where the voice, the inner voice, got stronger. And I learned the difference between my voice, or my conditioning, my ego voice, and the voice of the divine. It's practice, it's openness, it's saying yes, it's saying, come on, I'm inviting you. But trusting that they know exactly. They know exactly how to connect.
So you had mentioned that it's about, going within and sitting in the quiet space and listening. Is there a way that you could do for us? Because I remember in the class, again, you did like an opening prayer where you would help us to invite the angels in. Could you share that with us?
Sure. So why don't we just do it? Because that's the best way I can share it, right? So I ask everybody to take a nice deep breath in. Closing your eyes can help take the experience inward, because we're so used to the outer experience, and we want, our conditioning is the outer experience. So take a deep breath and just breathe in. Now, I always guide people first to connect to their center. And so what does that mean? Well, my center may be different than your center. So I want you to just breathe and trust your inner compass, your inner intuition. And I want you to just ask, where is my center? And just breathe and see where you're connected or guided to. And usually when you connect with that center, you feel this sense of an exhale, like, I'm there. And even if you can't find it, just be okay with closing your eyes and just going inward versus outward, where you're used to connecting with other people, other objects, other things. So breathing inward or into that center, I want you to just take a nice deep breath and let go of everything that happened before. Now I'm just going to explain why I do that. Because we're used to hanging out in the past, replaying the past with our thoughts, our energy. And so we really want to just let go of the past. And we also want to take a nice deep breath in, let go of what's going to happen later. That's the future. And believe it or not, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. So usually 80, 85, sometimes 90% are in the past and in the future. So divine connection is in the pause. It's in the moment, which really is all there is. So breathe into the sacred space of now. And then we want to, this is what I do. I invite the connection of our soul. So I want you to breathe and just say, I'm open to the divine alignment of my soul, because truly you are a soul in a human experience. You are a divine being in human doing. So breathe into that center and imagine this light, like you have this dimmer switch brightening. So your soul takes the front, leads the way. It takes the driver's seat, and you want the soul to lead, because the soul knows you are divine, and it's your divine birthright to connect with what's unseen, like your angels, guides, archangels, ascended masters. So let that dimmer switch brighten till you feel like the star is shining inside you from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes. Just imagine, pretend you're doing great. There's no right and wrong. In that divine birthright of your soul, I want you to call in your divine family. So this can be your guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, and even your loved ones in spirit. And imagine with your eyes closed, even if you have to pretend, that they're creating this beautiful circle around you. And just like I said, eventually you're going to feel their excitement that you said yes, you invited them, you're open to receive, you're open to experience, you're open to pay attention. Just tell them that I'm open. I feel the call of your connection, oneness, love, support. I don't want to walk the journey alone. I want to invite all the help, all the support, all the miracles, coincidences, synchronicities, signs. I'm open. I'm willing to pay attention, but you need to teach me. You need to show me. You need to guide me. I know you know me better than I know myself. So I'm here. And just take an exhale and imagine that unconditional love around you. Imagine your light of your soul blending with the light of their love, their support, their energy. Immediately, when we just set that intention, I could feel it with everyone happening, that blending, because we are all one and we just need to blend. And don't be afraid. This is love. We just invoked love. That's all there is this love. And most people are afraid of, oh, what if bad energy or evil energy? No, this is love. We are invoking divine love. We ask that nothing other than this divine love enter into oneness. Because love is who we are. And in the presence of the angels, we can remember love, we can ask for love, we can receive love. So just imagine and feel that big yes, I'm open to love. And this is where you can invoke, invite, and then just open your day and say, show me more love. Show me your presence. Show me the sign. Show me I'm not alone. Show me better than I could ever imagine. Show me the miracles. Show me the beauty. Show me support. Show me that I'm never, ever alone. And then you just have to put your hand on your heart and say, I'm willing to trust. I'm willing to open my heart to this. I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to trust in divine timing. And then I always say, and so it is, because when I say, and so it is, it means I believe, I trust, I know this is possible. And so together, let's say, and so it is.
So it is. Yeah. That was beautiful, Karen. So beautiful.
What do you both feel after that? Because I think it's important to understand, like, what's the feeling after doing that?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a great question, and a great question for our audience also is to reflect on that themselves. I feel a lightness around me. I feel a it's like an energy or a frequency around me of it feels like a hug, a warmth, and it's like it surrounds me, wraps me. That's what I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel warm instantly when I feel my angels around me or any kind of spirit around me. I feel the warmth.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I feel really, really warm and almost need to take my top off because I feel so warm. So I
Like
feel
a
the
warm
warmth.
blanket, like a warm blanket out of the dryer
Yeah.
on a cold winter day.
Yeah.
I call it the embrace, right? We're being embraced.
And it's just, the thing is, it's so good for us to know that we can have this embrace at any time.
Yeah.
People seek for this kind of embrace outside of themselves in terms of like they're seeking for that perfect partner or.
We seek outside of ourselves. And I think what happened, at least what happened for me, is I was used to doing everything on my own. I was used to pushing and forcing through life and thinking I was all alone, and it felt really lonely. And then when I invoked and played with the energy of the angels, I just had this comfort, that embrace. I felt like I had a team, like cheerleaders saying, you can do this, or we'll show you how. And it just felt like it actually became, instead of an outer high, it became an inner high, right? And I just wanted to experience more of that.
Yeah, and this is such a great episode and a reminder because even those of us that know how to call on our angels, and Lenny, I know that you have mentioned before, will you help me find a parking spot and all of those things. I find myself, I forget that they're there waiting to help me do everything in life. And God sent these angels for us, is my view on it. And it's such a great reminder. So thank you, Karen, for reminding us to use this amazing gift that we've been given, these angels.
I never forget. I love delegating, and I'm always these are like more people I can delegate to. So I've always been a delegator from before I became a hypnotherapist. I mean, I used to be a project manager in corporate, so I'm good at getting other people to do stuff for me. So I never forget that I'm surrounded with angels, because I'm always asking for assistance, always asking for help. Do they ever get sick of helping us, Karen?
You know what? They don't work that way. They don't know a big prayer, a small prayer. They don't know too many prayers. It's not the same as here. They don't count. They don't quantify. They just hear this request of love and support, and there it is. That's the way I feel it and I experience it.
I just have to say this. I have a chalkboard, and I am going to write on my chalkboard, call on your angels.
And
I need to do that.
Call for anything and everything. And the other thing is that people worry because of conditioning. First of all, they worry, they're so used to praying for everybody else, but they're not used to praying for themselves. And if you don't fill your own cup, how is it going to overflow to others? It doesn't mean there's a balance of praying for others and self, but I even think sometimes if you receive, then you're going to overflow it. If you have experiences, you're going to want to share it. So there's none of that in the angelic realm. There's just a prayer is a request of love, and that's all it's heard, as a request of love.
Beautiful. And so for those people out there, Karen, you've given us a beautiful meditation that people can do to deepen their connection to angels. You've talked about being aware of everything that's going on around you. What is the most important thing people can do you think?
Take the pause, right? Like Karen said, this is what, for doing this for 25 years, people still come back and circle back around, and they say, I can't believe I spent, 8 weeks in your angel messenger. I spent 10 weeks in this course, and I still forget to ask. So to me, it's taking the pause. If it's taking the pause before you start your day and open your day with this, if it's the pause when you turn your radio off in the car, if it's the pause when you walk out in nature, just pause and breathe and say, I know you're here. I want to invite you in. Let's co-create. Let's play. Or you just take that pause and ask for one thing for yourself or another. It's just the pause, because we get so busy. We get so lost up here in our thoughts. We get lost in our doing that we forget to pause. So to me, that's the most important thing. Stop, pause.
Yeah. To allow that space.
Yeah.
That space to allow them in, to allow them to connect. They're just going knock, 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 knock. We want to talk to you. We've got a message for you. But we're so busy with our Instagram and our Netflix and, talking, that we're not hearing the messages and hearing the guidance and feeling the support that's around us all the time. And how beautiful to know that we're always supported, that we're never alone. I mean, what a difference, Karen, for you when you lost your son, to know that you had this support, right? So imagine if you thought you actually believed you were completely alone. Imagine if you believed that there was nothing else. Imagine if you believed that there were no angels. I mean, how different would that experience have been for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when Josh died, I did rely a lot on God and Jesus. And I would say, carry me, I can't do this. And then when I learned about the angels, I thought, oh my gosh, like, how did I not know this all of these years of my life? Of course they're God's helpers. And of course they want to help me. And it was like, I always remember as a child thinking, how can God be everywhere? How can God know everybody's thoughts? How can God help everybody? How can God answer all these prayers? There's millions of people. And then when I took the angel course and I realized that he doesn't do the little things, he's got helpers, and those are our angels, and they support us and they hold us and they take care of us and they help us find keys and they help us write and they help us do anything that we ask them to help us for. It was like this big eye-opening experience where I was like, of course we're all taken care of because we have all of these spiritual beings, these loving angels to take care of us. And it was very, very reassuring after Josh had died that I was always being watched. I was always being helped.
And I think about it with you, Karen and Josh, like if you don't pause to listen or pause to ask, can I get a little sign for you? Or can I hear? If you don't pause, then how do you connect with him? Right. And so it's actually very simple, right? It's very simple. The pause.
It's simple. And yet I find that too, because sometimes I will go through a very busy week with everything that we all have on our plates. And I'll think to myself, I haven't gotten a message from Josh. I haven't heard from Josh. I haven't, really had a connection with him in a week. And then I realize it's me. I'm the one that hasn't sat down and paused in order for him to send me a message or send me a sign. So I totally agree. And it's something that we get to learn about all of life.
I love it. I love it. Wow, this was such a beautiful episode, Karen. You are such a gift, and you've been a beautiful gift in my life, and you've made such a difference in my hardest days. So we have to ask this question again because you might have a different answer this time. So this is a question that we ask all our guests at the very end of this show. This show is called Soul Sisters Get Real, and I really feel that the three of us are definitely soul sisters. We've all been at the same place at the same time. We've all been in Boston together, and we've been in Vegas together, and all these different places. So what does it mean for you, Karen, to get real?
What's coming to me before you even ask the question, because I don't remember last time what the question was, but before you even ask, I heard, love yourself enough to receive the love that's already there around you. I think that is the most important thing that we forget or don't accept wherever we're at, whatever we're going through, whatever's happened in our life. Truly, I've realized this, and the angels have taught me about unconditional love. That unconditional love is right there in that embrace, waiting for you to be held, carried, shown, guided. So love yourself enough to receive that unconditional love and to learn more about what that unconditional love means. That's truly what's coming to me.
Beautiful. That is so beautiful. And yeah, everybody can have that embrace that that Karen taught us today to do. Everybody can do that. We can all do that. So that is a mission that I'm asking everybody to do after listening to this episode, is go and give yourself that embrace. Put this episode on again. Send it to a friend and sit down in a quiet spot and just give yourself that embrace and feel the angels embrace you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, both.
Thank you so much, Karen, for
putting this out there to others too. I mean, you're sending that embrace every time you do an episode. So thank you for doing that. That we really need this right now.
And thank you for joining us again. This is very, very valuable information that you have shared with us and many, many, many others.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for watching. We hope you loved it.
And if you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And remember, always connect to your truest essence.
And choose love. We'll see you next time.